Yo, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? My name's Trikazo. Welcome to the channel, and let's get right into the video. So today is going to be a video about the 5 things you need to know about competitive before you go into it. Competitive Overwatch is a lot different from other games. Even if you played other games like Smite or League of Legends, the system's still kind of different, so I want to get into that. So first, the scoring system has changed a little bit. If you've seen the actual competitive, like teams like LG, Cloud9, Envious play against each other, they play on a thing called Stopwatch, which is different than the ranked mode, which goes off a meter system. So pretty much how this works is in Stopwatch, you set a time for running a payload, and once you get that time, the other team has to beat that time. If they don't get that time, there's no overtime or anything, that team just loses, or if they beat it, they win. Now in ranked, it's different. Once you get to a certain meter on the map, the other team either has to beat that, or they lose. And the only way to go to overtime is if both teams win or get to the exact same meters, which I find kind of hard to do, and I doubt anyone will actually go to that point. So the next thing is actually King of the Hill, which is kind of in the first one. It's best of 5. That's the only difference. That's really the only difference. The other game modes are just as straightforward as King of the Hill, so I'm kind of just gonna stick with explain the payload. So number 2 is the penalty for leaving, which is a 75% reduction in XP gained, and the penalty remains until your leave rate changes in the next 20 games. So it's based off of the last 20 games, and if in your next 20 games, or like your 20 games from just whenever you keep playing, gets to the point where Blizzard's average is like, okay, it looks like their leave rate is fine now, then you'll be able to play competitive again, it'll be completely fine. So the only other thing though is that you can't take this just like, oh sweet, I can clean my slate and then I can leave games, because if you go through this cycle too many times, you'll actually be banned from the current season. So I would really not take this as a way to get out of losing games, guys. The next thing is competitive points. And right now you only get 1 competitive point for every win, and you don't get anything for a loss, which may seem rather small considering getting gold guns in the game is 300 competitive points. But it looks like you're going to be getting a lot of competitive points at the end of the season based on how you placed. So I'm assuming what this means is that you have a skill rating, which is 1 to 100. So I'm assuming they'll give you however many competitive points you have in your skill rating. So if you have 55, you get 55, or they're going to do it where you get that times 2. So instead of getting 55, you get 110. This is just what I'm assuming. None of it's been confirmed. I couldn't actually find anything on the internet about this, so it's hard to give you guys a definitive answer. So this actually brings us pretty well into the number 4, which is skill rating. And Blizzard has taken a different route with this, considering ranked modes in other games that kind of go bronze, silver, gold, and so on. Blizzard had gone for a lot more competitive approach, which I actually kind of like, because I love competitive aspects. As I said in my last video, I want to do tournaments and whatnot for the channel, and I just love how competitive the ranked mode is, because quick play is really chill and whatnot, but then when you really want to get into the game, the skill rating is really going to amp you up. So I actually won 5, lost 5, and I got a 44, which seems probably about like the 50-50 where you're probably going to be. But I lost some games earlier on, so I'm wondering if I won those earlier on games and lost later games, if I would have been ranked higher, because if you guys do or do not know this, most games go by a type of thing where earlier on games matter a lot more, because wins after those early games are going to be harder. So they're worth more. So that's what I'm assuming. Nothing's been confirmed yet, but that's probably the philosophy you'll want to go by. Another awesome thing about the ranking system is that in the top 500 at the end of the season, you're supposed to get an exclusive animated Ilios spray if you're in that top 500, which I think that's pretty dope. I love the idea of having exclusive stuff, even if maybe I'm not going to be able to reach that. I just think it's awesome that the people that really achieve have like that way of showing, just like, hey, look at this. They're in a quick play and they just go up with some people, and people are like, oh, look at this scrub. Then you put that Ilios skin on the wall, Ilios spray on the wall, and then people are like, oh shit, this guy's for real. So the last and final thing, number 5, which I want you guys to know, and this is probably going to seem really obvious and maybe a bit cheesy, but it's group up. You always want to have some people with you. This is not only because having groups makes it a lot easier to communicate, it also means you're not going to be blaming your team when you solo queue. What I mean by this is you solo queue by yourself, you get some gold medals, and you lose. It's like, oh, my team blows, that's why I lost, that shouldn't affect my skill rating. But when you're playing with a group of 2 other people, you at least know 2 other people are good, and they can critique your performance as well, meaning you can get better from the experience. Because when you play by yourself, it's a lot easier just to blame your shortcomings on your team. Even if you did get a gold medal or 2, there's still a lot more you might have been able to do for that team. So as with every 5 things video out there now, there's going to be a bonus, and that bonus is just like a personal thing I want to tell you guys, and that's have fun. Have fun playing the game you're probably obsessed with right now. Have fun playing the game I am completely obsessed with right now. What I mean by this is that this is just going to be the first week of Overwatch competitive. And for these first 2 or even 3 weeks is going to be a lot of the really good people like gunning for those top spots. And during this period, you might get loss streaks of up to like 4 or more. Like, I haven't reached that yet, but I'm assuming I'm probably going to, because there are people a lot better than me that are probably going ham right now to get to that uncontested 100 spot. The spot of glory that everyone wants to reach. There are going to be a lot of people gunning for that, so don't feel bad if you're not doing well in the first couple of weeks. Just take this practice. You always want to be getting better, and try and just get better at Overwatch in these next weeks. That should be your main focus, and hopefully by the end of the month, or the end of the next 2 months, since I believe the seasons end August 18th, but I'm not completely sure. I'm pretty sure that's around the mark when it's going to end, but you guys can probably just look it up. I'm sure you'll be able to look up when the season ends and you'll be all good. But anyway, I hope you guys like that pentakill. I'm not actually watching the video right now, unfortunately, because I'm only using like 1 monitor at the moment, because I'm kind of switching up my setup. But I really hope you like that, because during the game I was like, oh holy crap, I'm finally gonna get that sextuple. Finally gonna get that sextuple. They're gonna say sextuple. I'm gonna be super proud of myself. But no, there was a diva, and I couldn't clean up fast enough to be able to do it. I don't think after she exited her mech, I would actually have time to do it. But it kind of stinks, but I did get the penta, I did get an achievement, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. Anyway, thank you a ton for watching the video. I hope you guys loved it. If you really did love it, then hit the like button. If you loved it enough and you really like me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Maybe the share, maybe the favorite if you're getting into it. Thanks a bunch, guys. This is your boy Frikaza, signing out.